sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. 3. Okay, are we on now? Microphone check.
All right. All right, we're checking now to see.
Laid there.
All right. All right, we're going to try this again. And so we'll take it from the top. Again, we're just getting the ability to have sound. So I want to just double check to make sure all is well. And thank you all for, again, your patience tonight. We, again, have been experiencing some technical and technician difficulties. And I need to make sure that going forward, before I get started, that everything is good. So you all help me by making sure that you indicate if there's anything that goes wrong. There's no shame in me making sure that everything is right before I go forward. Okay, I got a message saying sounds good. All right, got a thumbs up.
Awesome.
All right, this is what we've been looking to hear. Thank you so much. All right, so you saw us lip syncing a minute ago, I guess, and you didn't know where we were. But now we can go back and tell you again, welcome to the Spreading the Word Bible class. And so this will end up being the abbreviated version because I'm not going to delay our time any more than we already have as we start here. This is 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern, and 4 o'clock on our West Coast listeners. So I want to just make sure that those of you who have tuned in can just jump right in and be ready for the word. Reverend Carr and I are here in the sanctuary live, and we are looking to celebrate all of you who was there. Is the volume, if it gets in the point where you're not able to at least hear for some reason, again, I'm not sure exactly what it is. Y'all know we are theology and they are technology. And so we're going to let them figure it out, and we're going to keep talking. And if nobody else, we're going to bless the folk that's in the house. Tonight we're going to just do a little bit of a teaser to start a new series that we are dealing with on encountering Jesus. As we prepare in this Advent season going forward, we just ended our harvest month, and we're going to start a new series dealing with aspects of Jesus and aspects of his ministry as it relates to various of the synoptic gospels, or actually all 4 of them will come into play, because tonight, instead of Mark's version of the gospel we're going to look at John's version itself. But we are utilizing a life-changing book and look at Jesus that we will be sharing for those who are interested in doing so, that will be coming into our live. This is a book that was put forth by Urban Ministries, the editorial department, and I'm grateful for a short price and some of the persons who worked in order to put this wonderful book together. And it again is called Encountering Jesus, and we're going to utilize this book as a means of biblical study. And tonight's message is Jesus being more than enough. Okay, Jesus is more than enough. That's what we're going to look at today. So let's jump right into the lesson. If you don't mind me switching the order, we'll pray at the end, because we normally start our Bible study right at this time.
Yes. And
so we'll pray at the close of our study. And those of you who are going to join with us, turn to John chapter 6, and we're going to reflect also back to Mark chapter 6. This miracle is recorded in actually all 4 gospels.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why we know this, that this is a gospel that is important to be shared, to be able to done that. Rashad, I need you to give me a little bit more volume. I think they're asking for more volume online. So I want to make sure that those of you who are tuning in can hear the reading of the Word of God as we go to John 6, and we're going to look at this version, and we're going to use a synoptic look. And synoptic basically is a word that means same, like we get the word synonym from. So optic is where we get optical, like glasses. So it basically talks about gospel writers who have a similar view. Okay, same view, synoptic, same view, same look. And so the interesting piece that you will discover is the nuances of how each writer sees something different, as well as seeing things similar. The things that they see similar are generally outcome-based, but the details sometimes might be different. So let me just set this up initially before we go into the lesson. This is the reason why you have to be careful when you're talking to people who tend to be literalists and are trying to disprove the Bible.
Right.
Because what they'll do is they'll take miracles like this and they'll go to each writer, and because there doesn't seem to be exact consistency on details, they will discredit the Bible as being errant.
That's right.
And again, you have to be careful about people who, I call them literalists or bibliolatrists, because they're trying to find a way to disprove it. The way you ought to look at it is if you've got 4 different people who are standing on a 4-way intersection, and all 4 of them are standing there on different sides of the street, and they all witness an accident that occurs. Each one of them may have a dynamic that they write about or tell the officer who comes about what they saw, because they're all looking at it from different perspectives. One of them could see something that took place that another one may not have seen that took place. You know, one can have seen that the car ran the light, but another person may have seen that the driver either fell asleep or was swatting at a bee or possibly had some type of health challenge. Another person might have seen that the road was slick and he may have hit a patch and slid through the intersection without trying to deal with that. There's a lot of things that could be seen. The one thing that makes the difference, though, is all 4 of them will agree it was an accident. And that's the major issue of the process. Some people fall out over how it happened versus that it happened. So don't get hung up by believing that the Bible is errant, because some people talk and bring nuances out in the text that are not there. Different does not mean deficient. And that's why you have to be a Bible studier, a student of the Word, so that you can read all Bible verses and all versions. As a matter of fact, get a parallel Bible that will help you to do that. And then there is a synoptic Bible that will actually put all the 3 miracles right side by side, and you can see them in that version as well. So all of those are good study helps that will help you to study. What you want to find out in those kinds of things is what is it that they are saying that are similar perspectives and points that you can draw conclusions about what Jesus's miracle or his teaching is all about. That's what synoptic study produces. Most time the synoptic gospels will be Matthew, Mark, and Luke. John uses to be the odd man out because he writes with a different viewpoint. That's the reason why we're going to compare Mark chapter 6 to John chapter 6 and look at some of the nuances there. So having done that, we're going to read tonight. In order to do it, as a matter of fact, since we have this that way, I'm going to read the Mark version of the text, and then Reverend Carr is going to read the John version of the text. And let's see if you pick up the differences as we begin to start our study. So Mark chapter 6, I'm going to read verses 30 through 44. And the apostles gathered themselves together unto Jesus and told him all things, both what they had done and what they had taught. And he said unto them, Come ye yourselves apart into a desert place and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so as much to eat. And they departed into a desert place by ship privately. And the people saw them departing, and many knew him, and ran afoot thither out of all cities. And out went them, and came together unto him. Verse 34, and Jesus, when he came out, saw much people, and was moved with compassion toward them, because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And when the day was now far spent, his disciples came to him and said, this is a desert place, and now the time is far past. Send them away, that they may go into the country round about and into the villages, and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat. He answered and said unto them, give ye them to eat. And they say unto him, shall we go and buy 200 pennyworth of bread, and give them to eat? He saith unto them, how many loaves have ye? Go and see. And when they knew, they say, 5 and 2 fishes. And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies upon the green grass. And they sat down in ranks by hundreds and by fifties. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, he looked up to heaven, and blessed and brake the loaves, and gave them to his disciples to set before them. And the 2 fishes divided he among them all. And they did all eat, and were filled. And they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments and of the fishes. And they that did eat of the loaves were about 5,000 men. That is ends the reading of Mark chapter 6, verses 30 through 44. Reverend Carr will give a synoptic reading of John chapter 6 of this same text.
Sure, and let me just say, as Dr. Bland stated, we get 4 different versions of the feeding of the 5,000. We also get some stories about the feeding of 4,000. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let me just say,
I was trying to get y'all's attention for a while, saying it's black, and again, I'm not necessarily talking to my deacons because that ain't their job. It's yours. So how is it? Damn it! All right, shut it down. I'm done. Shut it down. Shut it down. I've had enough.